They thought the worst had passed. The world breathed a collective sigh of relief when Kim Taehyung, V of BTS, was reportedly discharged from a hospital just days after completing his grueling military service. Fans across the globe posted celebratory tweets, created heartfelt fan art, and flooded Weverse with welcome home messages. But none of them could have predicted what came next. In a sudden and unscripted emotional moment during a recent live stream, Jungkook, his voice trembling and his eyes glossed with tears, dropped a revelation that no one saw coming. A revelation that shattered the carefully rebuilt hope millions of armies had been clinging to. His health, it hasn't really improved, Jungkook said softly, almost whispering the words as if he was afraid the world would break if he said them too loud. That one sentence was enough. Enough to send shockwaves across fandom communities. Enough to start a wave of speculation, fear, and sorrow. Enough to leave even the strongest fans sobbing into their pillows. But what's the truth behind Jungkook's emotional confession? What's really going on with Taehyung's health? And why are details being kept so tightly under wraps? Was his hospital discharge premature? Or is something much darker unfolding behind closed doors? The moment that cracked the internet, Jungkook's breaking point: the live stream wasn't supposed to be anything serious. Jungkook appeared cheerful at first, singing softly, replying to comments, making armies laugh with his usual brand of goofy charm. But everything shifted the moment someone asked a question that had been floating quietly, unspoken, between every fan. How is Taehyung doing now? At first, Jungkook paused. His lips parted as if to answer quickly, casually. But then he looked away. His smile dropped. His fingers fidgeted nervously. He blinked slowly once, twice. And then came the whisper that would echo in every army's mind for days. His health, it hasn't really improved. You could hear a pin drop in the silence that followed. Fans watching live could feel the atmosphere change instantly. It wasn't scripted. It wasn't planned. And it certainly wasn't what anyone was prepared to hear. We thought he was getting better. The dangerous illusion of recovery for weeks. Reports had been vague but reassuring. Taehyung was said to be resting, recuperating, home, and safe. Even the official press release, carefully worded, gave off an air of normalcy. But Jungkook's words shattered that illusion. He has trouble sleeping. Jungkook continued in the live stream, his voice barely audible. Sometimes he just stares at the ceiling. He says his chest hurts, but the doctors keep telling him to rest more. That was the moment fans realized. The hospital may have released Taehyung, but his suffering never stopped. The military, the mystery, and the medical silence. What really happened to Taehyung? The speculation began immediately. Was the intense physical strain of military service too much? Did Taehyung overexert himself? Was there an undisclosed injury or illness that hasn't been made public? Or is there something deeper, something emotional, psychological, that no report has dared to address? Taehyung had always carried himself like a pillar of strength, smiling for fans, comforting others, and hiding his own pain behind his soulful eyes. But even the strongest break. And now, the cracks are beginning to show. According to insiders who have chosen to remain anonymous, Taehyung had faced more than just physical challenges during his enlistment. Rumors are swirling that he may have pushed through injuries or extreme fatigue in silence. Out of duty, out of pride, out of love for his fans. But at what cost? Why did Jungkook cry after the stream ended? The part armies didn't see, what most fans didn't catch, was what happened after the live stream, and off-camera recording, leaked by a source claiming to be part of the production crew, captured Jungkook collapsing onto a couch backstage. In the clip, he's heard whispering, "I shouldn't have said that," followed by a long, painful silence. And then, unmistakably, the sound of him crying. The moment is raw, gut-wrenching, and horrifyingly real. Many are now asking, was Jungkook trying to protect Taehyung by staying silent all this time? Was this confession a slip, or a desperate cry for help? And more importantly, what's happening to Taehyung behind closed doors that fans aren't being told? Jimin's sudden disappearance from social media. Coincidence or clue? Adding to the mystery, Jimin, another member famously close to Taehyung, has been suspiciously absent from social media since the day of Jungkook's confession. Jimin, who once said, "If Tae cries, I cry too," has gone completely silent. No tweets, no Weverse posts, no sightings. Is he staying by Taehyung's side? Or is he struggling to process the truth just like everyone else? Fans are now digging into old interactions, old interviews, looking for anything they might have missed, any clue that might explain the silence, the sadness, the spiraling emotions that are now gripping the fandom. ARMYs react. This feels like 2018 again. Older fans are drawing painful comparisons to past moments when BTS members battled through health scares in silence, only revealing the truth later, when the damage was already done. "I remember the tears during the Love Yourself tour," one fan tweeted. "I remember the fear when Yoongi disappeared for a while. This feels just like that, only worse. Because this time, we don't even know what we're dealing with." The hashtag Please Be Okay Taehyung began trending within minutes of the stream. Videos of ARMYs crying, comforting each other, and praying for answers have flooded TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram. But what's truly haunting is the recurring question echoing through every post. Why are they hiding the truth from us? The question that shook the fandom. What if Taehyung never fully recovers? It's a question no one dares to ask out loud, but one that now lingers heavily in the minds of every ARMY across the globe. What if this isn't just a temporary condition? What if Taehyung's health, both mental and physical, has been compromised in a way that won't go away with rest? What if this is the beginning of a longer battle that could stretch for months or even years? And more terrifying still, what if Taehyung himself has already realized that? In the days following Jungkook's emotional livestream, fans revisited every piece of content from the past few weeks, looking at clips of Taehyung walking with his head low, his unusually somber expressions, his quietness in photos. Things that were once dismissed as fatigue or camera timing suddenly look like signs. One fan wrote on Twitter, "I looked at the clip where Tae was leaving the hospital. He smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. Now I can't unsee it." The more fans look, the more they find. And the more they find, the deeper the heartbreak becomes, the unseen toll of military life. What Taehyung never said out loud: South Korean military service is a national requirement. But that doesn't mean it's gentle, especially for celebrities whose lives are suddenly thrown into total transformation. Gone are the cameras, the glamour, the fans. In its place, rigid routines, physical exhaustion, emotional isolation. For someone as expressive and emotionally sensitive as Taehyung, the sudden shift from the spotlight to solitude could have hit harder than fans ever realized. There are unconfirmed reports from anonymous military personnel that Taehyung frequently volunteered for night duties. Some called him too quiet. Others said he was deep in thought all the time. One even claimed Taehyung once sat alone for hours on the edge of a training field after lights out, staring up at the stars. He had said before that he loves looking at the sky. But what was he thinking about during those hours? His bandmates? The pressure? His fans? Or something darker? These silent letters, hidden messages in his journal entries. After his hospital discharge, Taehyung shared a short note on Weverse, simply saying, "Thank you for waiting. I'm home now. Please don't worry." At first glance, the message felt reassuring. But now, fans are reading between the lines. He said not to worry, but not that he was okay, one fan commented. Another pointed out a subtle pattern in his previous posts. He always used to write long poetic captions, but recently it's just "thank you," "soon," or "I'm trying." What is he trying to tell us without alarming us? Some even believe he may be using his new photography uploads to communicate his emotions indirectly. In one photo, he posted an image of a dimly lit hallway with a single door at the end, captioned "Still Walking." Was it just aesthetic, or a metaphor? Jungkook's guilt and the brothers who hurt with him. The bond between BTS members is something ARMYs have always cherished. But this latest chapter is revealing just how deep those bonds go, and how much pain can ripple through the group when one of them suffers. Jungkook's words during the live stream were devastating enough. But it's the way he said them, the way his voice cracked, the way he swallowed back emotion, that truly tore at the fandom's heart. I tried to make him laugh, Jungkook said at one point. He smiled a little, but it wasn't the same.